Tony here. This is going to be, I believe, part 3 of my DX6i. You know, as you can see, I've got my paper on the table. This is actually a blue table, but I didn't want to get a bunch of overspray on it, even though I can just wipe it off with a little lacquer thinner, won't hurt it. But I laid down just some paper. You can get it in rolls. You can get it just about anywhere. Newspaper's fine. Not just about anything. If you don't have anything, use printer paper. But on this radio, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to get right into it. There's a few parts to this radio. If you guys watched the first part, you saw me take it apart. You saw what all was involved in getting all the switches out, getting the controls out, getting the LCD out. I don't have any screws in this, so the top just pops right off. Here's your battery door. This right here is your button for your throttle cut. This right here is going to be your wheel that you use to select with. And then right here is your on-off switch. I have went ahead and elected to go ahead and cover up that orange with paint. Alright, just went and got a 7/32 deep socket. If you saw in the first video, I couldn't get my little bar off right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and take it off. Once you get those two nuts off in there, this will just pull off. It does have some little base pieces, and none of this we're going to be painting. So we're going to go ahead, slide those base pieces right back on. Now there is 2 washers in here. Let's go ahead and knock them loose real quick. And what you want to do is go ahead and take your washer, get your little base on there, put your washer on, then put your nut on there. Alright, after you do it on both sides, you know you got everything on there, nothing's going to come off. So just go ahead, put it up, and you're ready to start working. Now I'm going to do something that I probably won't suggest you guys do. This little screen right here, I really don't want to tape it off. I'd really like to get some paint behind it, but I don't want to mess any of this up. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, it pulls out pretty easy. And then I'm just going to gently press and hope that I don't crack it and hope that I don't chip that paint in there. You gotta go slow, because this, I mean, it will crack, but looks like I got pretty lucky. Glove sticking to it. It's got sticky all along it, but you can go out and you can get a roll. It looks just like Scotch tape. And you can just put some tape on there. In fact, I need to do it here because it wasn't sticking at all. So we'll just go ahead and we'll put this in my drawer up here on the padded surface where my airbrush goes. The next thing we need to do, I'm not going to worry about masking this because all this is going black anyway. But I want to mask those 3 areas right there, and then I want to mask those 2 deals off, and then I want to mask these 2 off. I'm probably going to go ahead and peel that off. The first thing we need to do is we need to tape all this off. And you're going to need a couple things to tape it off. I suggest an X-Acto knife, but I can't find mine. I'll probably end up going inside and really looking for it before I start doing this here in a minute. But you can use just a regular old straight razor and then some tape. Now on these radios, these right here got plastic coverings on it to protect it. You put tape on it, once you peel it up, plastic covering is gone. So there'll be no protection for it, which, I mean, it's supposed to, they mean for it to come off right as you get it. So, alright, well, as you can see, we've got our radio here, kind of zoomed in. The sun's still not working with me real well, but it's going to be enough to where I can show you this. Now, as you can see right there, that tape's not quite going to cover that. So we're going to end up having to use this tape on this center section. We'll go ahead and we'll start with one of these outside areas. As you can see, I've got my gloves on, so it makes it a little bit harder to do this, but it can still be done. All you want to do is just measure your tape out a little bit, cut a little bit extra, and go ahead and just lay it on there to where it's overlapping everything, and just start pressing it down. As you're pressing it down, you're going to start seeing these little indentations, and you just take your nail and just run around those edges and make sure to smooth out all of those air bubbles that are in there. Now, once you get done smoothing it out, you can even take the back of a razor blade and kind of push that in there. Once you get done with that, you're going to want to go in and cut all this out. And be sure not to cut yourself when you're doing this. That's why I highly suggest you use an X-Acto knife and not one of these straight blades. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get get this done pushed in there, and I'll come back whenever I'm ready to start cutting out. Alright, as you can see, I've got it all pushed down. I can't push this corner down, otherwise it'll start ripping. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my blade and I'm just going to run right along this edge. And you want to do this pretty slow. That way you don't cut into your radio. You don't want to use a lot of pressure. Just enough to go through the tape. And you want to look at it. And you can see there, I've actually cut too much. So what I need to do is I need to peel this back off. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you guys a little bit more before I do this. But you just ever so slightly have to put any pressure on that, and it'll come right up, and it'll leave the exact area exposed that you want to be exposed. So that's the exact same way that you do it for all of this. With the angle that I'm having to do this, it's kind of hard. I actually need to turn it around to where I can see it, and unfortunately it'll take it out of camera view. So I'm going to get this done, and then I'm going to come back. Whenever I come back, you're going to see all three of these spots already taped off. These spots here, I'm actually going to tape off with just Scotch tape. That way, I see exactly where I need to cut, and then I can just peel it up whenever I'm done, and everything's fine. I am probably going to peel up the Scotch tape before I spray my clear. What that's going to do is it's going to seal these permanently into this case. So if you plan on taking them off for some reason, don't do it. But I don't plan on taking them off. I am going to keep these taped off because I don't like the looks of clear over a plastic covering like this. But I think over something like this it'll be just fine. So guys, I'll be right back after I get done taping all that off. Alright, I want to come back just real quick. I got to looking at these, and these little tabs that go up here are actually aluminum. Just little thin strips of aluminum. So I went ahead and peeled them up. When you peel these up, you're going to distort them. You're not going to get them up without, bending them in some way, shape, or form. I'm going to try to show you guys a way to straighten these out whenever it comes time to put it all back together. But I just wanted to come back and let you guys know that I'm not going to be taping at least these two off. And I'm going to see if this one's aluminum as well and see if I can get it up. But this one right here will be a lot easier to tape. It doesn't have near as sharp corners. So I'll be right back. Alright, well, as you can see, I've got all of those off. This one's aluminum too, by the way. I figured it was. I went ahead and got all of them off. They are distorted, and they're going to need to be cleaned. In fact, I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but there's a little bit of sticky left on there. In order to get that sticky off, you can use something like this, which is just a wax and grease remover. You can use alcohol. You can use lighter fluid. You can use WD-40, but it kind of defeats our purpose of trying to keep this clean. So, guys, my light's going away, and whenever we come back, the lighting's going to be just a little bit different, but I'm still going to try to make it good. So, but we're, this part of it, except for these two up here, we're ready to paint. And once we get it wiped down and scuffed, then I think we're going to go ahead and start doing this. Still got to take off, a couple stickers here, but I think there's a sticker. No, there's not. So I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. I actually went ahead and I took a little bit of a chance, and it's sort of paid off, and I'll find out if it really paid off whenever we go to put the stuff back together. But I went ahead and I just took the stickers off, front and back. So I peeled everything off. They peeled off all right. That one in the battery tray didn't peel off, but I'm gonna get it a little bit later. I wanted to kind of get to it and kind of show you guys what all's involved. I had a whole bunch of this scrap aluminum laying around. So what I did is I went over to my brake, and I actually made a little stand. I guess you can kind of see it there. But I was going to put like the button here for the throttle cut, and then I was going to put the switch here and then another one up here. Well, it turns out the button for the throttle cut isn't very deep. I could have put the screw in here and drilled it out bigger and all that, but I just said, I'm not going to do all that. This does have to push onto a switch, so you don't want to screw it in very far, but I just put it in a screw to where I can hold it in my hand and go in there and turn it while I'm spraying it. And then I did the exact same for the power button. You know, it gives me a way for them to stand up. Right here's the roller, and it slides real nicely on a finish nail that I put through a hole that I drilled. And then the battery tray, it just kind of lays on there. You don't want to hit it with a lot of air, but I mean, with what I'm doing, it's not going to go anywhere. So, but guys, right now, what we need to get doing is just kind of scuffing it up just a hair. You don't want to do this very much. The finish isn't really all that smooth, but all you want to do, let me see if I don't know if I can get to where you can see the shine on it. But what I'll do is I'll kind of half that and see if you guys can see. All I'm doing is just doing a real light scuff on it. And I'm probably going just a little bit heavier than you really need to, but I want you to be able to see it on the camera. Let's see if you guys can see that. I'm not quite sure if you guys can see that or not. I know I can't, but it's a crappy screen on this camera. But you just want to scuff it up just a little bit. So, and you want to do that to all areas, including this black that you guys don't want me to friggin' paint. I'm gonna have a word with you guys about that. But you know, just scuff it up. It'll kind of turn a little bit gray instead of that nice shiny black, and it's going to be even shinier than that whenever I'm done. So, guys, I'm going to scuff it up and get all these pieces. I'm probably not going to scuff up these small pieces. I may a little bit, but I'm not sure. So, I'm going to come back whenever I get everything scuffed up and I get ready to spray, guys. See you guys in just a minute. And by the way, this is red Scotch-Brite. That's all you need to use. Don't use the dish sponge that's in your sink. Do not use the Scotch-Brite that's on it. It'll scratch the living crap out of it. It's just red Scotch-Brite. You can get it at Walmart. You can get it at any paint supply store. So, no dish sponges. Do not steal from your wife. All right, guys. Since we got everything sanded down, and I did sand down everything, just in case you guys are over there having a little conniption. You want to take all this is cheesecloth with beeswax on it. It's called a tack rag. For those of you that don't know, you just want to go around, and basically you're just picking up the leftover stuff that you can't blow off. This is a sterile rag, so you know it's not gonna, unless you just, I don't know how you'd leave it on there, but unless you just press so friggin' hard that it leaves stuff on there. But you just want to go around the whole radio, inside and out, and just wipe it out, and it'll let's see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it gets a little bit of the nasty stuff off, and you want to go to a new part every now and then. So, but yeah, that's all it is. You can get it, I'm pretty sure you can get these at Walmart. They're real cheap. They come in a pack of, I think they come in a pack of 12. At least that's the one I got. I'm sure you can get them individually and to suit your needs, because this right here, this is only like maybe 1/8 of a sheet. So, and you want to try not to touch everything after you sand it and wipe it down. But on some of these small pieces, you just really don't have a choice. So I just gotta wipe them off the best I can. So I'll be back in just a little bit. I'm gonna wipe everything down, and we're gonna get ready to spray. Be right back. All right, guys. As you can see, they're kind of raised up off the table a little bit. What I did is I took another piece of that scrap metal and over to my brake, and I just bent it into a triangle, and that gives me the perfect place for those to set on, and it gets it up off of the table. I'm not worried about the contact right in here, because that's going to be covered by that screen. But what I did is I went ahead and put my auto air on my airbrush, and I'm not going to make you guys suffer through this, but all you want to do, the technique for spraying a whole bunch of paint with an airbrush, I think, is a little bit different than spraying it with a big gun. Big gun, you start the spray, go over, stop the spray, and you do these constant strokes. But with this one, as little paint that comes out, I just I don't know if you can see it in there, but you could actually, as you're watching it, you can watch the paint actually get wet. If you just spray it, a little bit, it's not going to be wet. It's going to dry as soon as it hits it. But if you spray it until it gets wet, you're getting good coverage, and you just keep going. Now, like I said, this is going to take forever with this little gun, so I'm not going to make you guys suffer through it. It's the exact same for every piece. These smaller pieces, they might be a little bit more tricky, but I mean, it's really the same thing. And there you go. We have a black button now. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put on 2 or 3 coats or not yet, but I'll make that determination a little bit later. So guys, I'm gonna finish painting this up just a solid black, and I'll be back. All right, well, everything's black. There's a bunch of black going on. Now all we got to do is try to get this bottle out of this airbrush. And always, 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 let me move it over here. Always, always, always put the cap back on the paint. I've been guilty of not doing that. Alright, now I didn't change the little filter on this. Try not to actually hit the paint you just sprayed. But that is, like I said, that's just Windex. And there's my little jug. You just stick it in that hole, and if my air compressor kicks on, I'll kick it off. But you just stick it in that hole, pull the trigger, get all the paint out of your gun. Then just stick that up in there, and that'll start cleaning it out. But there's something that's clogging my gun. There, you can see it coming through now. Now, if this wasn't clogged up, you wouldn't see any of this. So what I'm going to do is get it away from that and just do it out here. I'm not so much worried about Windex more than I am about lacquer thinner and stuff like that. So you want to clean your gun real good. You never want to leave your gun dirty. So, and then I got some more cleaning to do on the airbrush, because I got some intricate stuff that I'm wanting to do. Once all the paint dries, I don't know if you can really see it or not. Yeah, you can see it. But you can see how it's wet here, but it's dry everywhere else. It's kind of a dull color. That's classic for this auto air. It's dull. It's a base coat. So, guys, I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna clean my airbrush, and then come back out here, and we're gonna get busy. We got to put the 2 halves together. We got to put the battery door on. I got to see if I can. Now I'm gonna go ahead and leave that little wheel just solid black. That thing is a royal pain to paint. So I may have to put a second coat on it. So I'm gonna let it dry, and guys, we'll see you in the next video. If you like this video, please rate, comment it, subscribe to me. I've got quite a few subscribers now. Can always use more. I love getting the word out there, trying to help somebody. Guys, thanks for watching my video. See you guys later.